Okay, we're talking about us when we were in our early 20s and the biggest mistakes that we've made life-wise and financially. Mga atit mga kuya, nakaupo ako sa sahig ngayon sa office ni Mrs. ko. Ano ginagawa ko dito? Well, si Mrs. nag-overtime. So, parang naaawa ako dahil she's all by herself dito sa office niya. So yun, sasamahan ko. Because it's teamwork. Right, baby?
Whatever.
By the way, she's behind the camera on the other side in front of her computer. And she does not want to be on camera right now dahil, you know, di kami mukhang tao ngayon eh. Ako nga, titignan nyo. Hindi mukhang tao, but it's okay. So, habang naghihintay ako kay Mrs. matapos yung trabaho niya, gawa tayo ng video! So, dahil ko po napapanood sa YouTube lately, napapansin ko po yung like the most popular topics are everything that has to do with money, everything that has to do with trabaho, everything that has to do with gasta. Tamang gasta, maling gasta. So, nag-usap po kami ni Mrs. kanina, nagkukwentuhan kami. And inisip po namin dati nung bata kami, when we first started, ang dami namin pagkakamaling ginawa. We made so many mistakes, it's crazy to think. And I think somebody who's new to Canada or thinking about going to Canada can find some value with our mistakes. All the mistakes that we've made in the past when it came to life and financials, especially financials. Dahil nung pumbata kami, wala naman nagturo sa amin. Okay, everything, like I said, was trial and error. Okay? And napakadami po namin mistakes na nagawa kaming dalawa. But you know, you learn from your mistakes, right? And the trick is to not make the same mistake twice. You learn from it. And then, you know, you do the opposite. So, I made a list on my phone of some of the things that kind of stuck out. Yung mga popular na kagagawa na ginawa namin dati. That we don't really regret dahil even though they were big mistakes, you know, lifestyle-wise, life-wise, financial-wise, you know, it molded us to become who we are now. And by the way, we're not in any way, shape, or form perfect, but we're better than what we were. Okay? Because we learned from the mistakes that we made, diba? And I will show you the list that I made. I don't know if you can see this, guys, but it's right there. So I'm gonna read it from my other phone. So, title po neto, mga malaking pagkakamali na ginawa namin ni Mrs. dati na hopefully our new kabayans can learn from. Galing, no, ha? So the very first mistake, I guess this would fall on me. Ako po, mahilig po ako sa kotse. I've always mentioned that in my previous videos. Ever since I was a little boy, napakahilig ko po sa kotse. Mas makintab, mas maganda. Mas mabilis, mas maganda. Kaya lang po, problema, wala akong pera. So, nung kabataan ko po, bili ako ng kotse. Wala man akong pera. I can't even afford it. So, paano ko po nagagawa yun? Utang ako ng utang. So, dito po sa Canada, tama po yung mga sinasabi ng mga vloggers sa YouTube na a car here, dito sa Canada, is a necessity. But some people, like myself when I was younger, I treated a car like an accessory. So tandaan niyo po yun, there's a big difference between treating a car as a necessity versus treating a car as an accessory. Dahil po, I'm not gonna lie, you know, bata po ako dati, I guess medyo merong konting kayabangan. You know, I wanted to have the nicest cars out of the group of people I hung out with.
So mayabang ka pala dati?
I'm not gonna lie, medyo lahat naman lalo na pag bata ka, hindi naman mawawala yung kayabangan. Meron konting porsyento sa loob mo na mayabang because, mind you, wala po nagsabi sa akin na dati, pag maganda kotse mo, well, we were made to believe that if you have a nice car, you attract all the girls, right? I was young and I was stupid, so I believed that saying. Pero katotohanan po talaga, wala namang babae na may gusto ng magandang kotse. Tsaka kung makahanap po kayo ng girlfriend or babae na gusto kayo para sa kotse nyo, that's the wrong girl. And I'll tell you right now, okay? Yung pong mga mahihilig sa kotse, hindi babae, mga lalaki rin po. So, that's the truth. So, ano ba yung pagkakamaling nagawa ko? Number one, I treated a car as an accessory instead of something that I use for a necessity. Maling-mali po yun. And number two, bili ako ng bili, utang ako ng utang, to satisfy that yabang inside me. Dahil bata, mayabang, stupid, that was me. Right? I was trying to impress all the wrong people. And as I've gotten older, I realized, obviously that's the wrong behavior because nobody cares about what you drive. That's the honest truth. Nobody cares. So yeah, I wasted so much money on cars because I wanted to impress other people. People that don't really care about me. So, number one mistake. Number two mistake, let me check my list, is cell phones. So I'm not gonna lie, yung pong cell phones, that came later on dahil nung pong bata kami ni Mrs. in our 20s, I think that was around the time cell phones became popular. Dati hanggang payphone lang po kami. We used like, how much was it? 10 cents or 25 cents to make a phone call?
I think it's 25.
It was 25 cents? Yeah. I think, what was it, like 2001, 2002 maybe? That's when cell phones became kind of popular, I guess. I'm not sure.
1998, I had a tiny Nokia.
1998, you had a tiny Nokia?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, dati po, nung bata kami, gustong-gusto po namin yung mga gadgets. Mahilig kami dun. Pag merong bagong lumabas na gadget, sige, upgrade. Sige, upgrade lagi. But every time you upgrade, it comes with a cost. Okay. Hindi po namin iniisip dati yun. Basta gusto namin, basta merong lumabas na bagong cellphone, sige, upgrade. Sige, upgrade the plan. It doesn't matter how much extra it would cost a month. Tutuusin po, napakamaling behavior nun. You know why? Katulad ngayon, especially ngayon. Itong cellphone na to, this is a Samsung Galaxy Note 5. This is God knows how many years old now, maybe 5, 6 years old. And this cell phone right here, for what I use it for, is almost exactly the same as my wife's cell phone, which is what she uses for her work, which is brand new. Minsan bibigay po sa akin ni Mrs. yung cellphone niya, I'll play around with it. There's so many functions that I don't even use or I'm not even familiar with. This 5, 6-year-old cell phone works perfectly. Pero dati po nung bata kami, sige, upgrade. Sige, add another $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month. Or sometimes even, talagang stupid kami. We would pay whatever the cell phone amount was. Whatever the sale price was, just to have it. Lalong-lalo na yung Apple na yan, yung bagong lumabas.
I never had an Apple.
Oh, I did. So, yeah, I guess that comes nung araw, it's a combination of sabik, ignorance, and I guess a little bit of yabang. Over the years, as you get older, you get wiser, you start to realize those were all the wrong behaviors because at the end of the day, nobody really cared about what you had, but you're the one paying for it. Totoo po yun. So guys, name brand goods is another thing na kaaway namin dati nung bata kami. Malaking pagkakamali po yun. Sa amin anyways. Dahil bata po kami, nobody showed us anything, nobody taught us anything. And, you know, parte din ng kaya ng, ng kabataan is, you know, you wanna experience how it is to flash, quote unquote, brand name items, right? Because I guess yung mentality po namin dati iba, you know, we would think that if you wear luxury items, name brand items, you know, you become more popular in your group of people that you hang out with, which happens to be the wrong group because kung yun ang mentality nyo, mali. Diba? So ang dami po namin ginasta na pera na wala kami on stuff like that, hoping that we can fit in a certain type of circle, or basically it all comes down to us trying to, I guess, keep up with whatever group that we were hanging out with at that time, which is completely wrong. Okay, because nobody really cares about what you wear, what you have. You know, realistically, the good people that you should surround yourself with, which we learned later on, are the ones that are more concerned about your well-being as opposed to what material things you have. Yung po ang totoo. You know, mga pinagdaanan po namin ni Mrs. Madami po kami pagkakamali na ginawa with life, lifestyle, and financials. We discovered credit cards. And credit cards back then on a 20-year-old's pocket, delikado po yun, especially if nobody taught you financial literacy, which in our case, nobody really did. So, karamihan po nung mga gasta-gasta na unnecessary on things that are not necessary was made on credit cards by us. We learned the hard way at the beginning that we should never ever fund a lifestyle that we could never afford with credit cards. So it took us many years to recover, but it was a very valuable lesson. So all of the things that I mentioned to you guys, like, you know, the cell phones, the cars, you know, the name brand items, lahat po yun pagkakamali namin because of ignorance, because of youth, because of, I guess, the circumstance that we were in at that time, or maybe the crowd of people that we chose to surround ourselves with, you know. But that was all trial and error. And as we gotten older, we got a little bit wiser, and we finally realized the true worth of life. So, yeah, don't make the same mistakes as we did, guys.